and welcome, dear listeners, to this particular Tuesday session. For some reason, I am energized. I've got a lot of energy. No, it's not Tuesday. My goodness, how could I be stuck a day later back in time? It's Wednesday. Apologies for that, guys. It would have been a very bad April Fool's Day to continue on from the, not so kosher discussion that Helmut and I. Okay, Helmut technically placed a landmine there for us yesterday, specifically the other discussion that I would like to, for now, just avoid. But welcome to this particular, key and important discussion for today, for the home run. And as you know, you're in our company from 4 to 7. A little bit late during this particular first hour of the home run, we will be crossing over for a special engagement and interview, specifically with the representative from Intercape, the Intercape Coach Service, and we'll be talking to Mr. Gomotsora Petswa a little bit later. That'll be at 4:30, just so that you know. But welcoming Helmut in. Helmut, how you doing?
All good, how are you?
Don't show the sweat. I won't switch over yet. Oh, it's good. It's not yet on us. But yeah, I won't show the sweat as yet. That's on your brow. But yeah, how you doing? How do you feel about today's discussion specifically? Because I actually like the two introductory discussions before Governor Ipinge, stepped up to deliver his address. Specifically the part where the council member went like, for all the residents, in front of their computers. No. No. They should be in front of their television. I said that, it's a small typographical mistake,
You know what's my favorite part?
Yeah, what?
The governor's reaction.
What, he was cracking it up?
He was this close to losing it.
Because you could see that
he was holding on for dear life. He even ended up facing the other side.
Look, it's honest. Look, I'm sorry. We won't mention the councillor's name, just, in terms of ensuring that we don't have a welcoming party at our studio gates.
Well, we talk for a living.
But it was some some nice comic relief.
Oh yeah, it was. It was very much.
But I also liked primarily the lecture that was interviewed. Just
at the beginning.
Yeah.
And the metallurgical expert from
from the UNAM campus in
Agostino, not Agostino,
Jose dos Santos.
Jose dos Santos, yeah.
Yeah, Agostino Neto was before Santos. Just so that you know that, Amo.
So it was Agostino Neto, then
Jose dos Santos.
Dos Santos for and Jesus was this close to coming.
Do you think he was in close contention with Museveni?
It was very close.
Would he have been closer if he stayed on or with Paul Biya, or would he have been closer with Museveni?
I don't know when these guys actually came to power. I know that Museveni is about 3-4 decades.
Because technically Museveni is thought to be in the 30-somethings, but Paul Biya, which I believe is the longest serving, has been for 40 years. When the last time we checked last year, when we had that discussion, he was at that stage for 40 years.
Jeez.
Yeah. But we're not talking about African leaders. We're not.
We're just here to talk about...
We're here to analyze Oshana's State of the Region address.
You're here to analyze. I'm here to
chop it up.
Just look through the numbers, which are very, very, very interesting in terms of investment. And,
Okay, you do the investments, Helmut, because the governor cited that he's got 3 major urban centers in his region. Yeah. And they all walk in a line, basically. So it's Oshakati, Ongwediva, Ondangwa. All of them play their own particular roles. Except for... Who was it that said last week that these 3 towns have to make up their minds and just become one super settlement? I don't know. Namibians.
I don't think we have a population that size.
No, but Namibians. Well, Helmut, for all of us that have been to those 3 particular,
I get the close proximity, but
I know, Helmut. Technically, it has the potential of merging together. For example, to look like what happens in South Africa with Pretoria, Midrand in the middle, and then Johannesburg.
So it's just
you think it's just one massive urban settler
they're
sprawling
basically
it.
converged in some kind of
Yeah.
a panorama.
And how
You
my
can't
sister
tell where which one
ends and
which
which one
ends
starts.
where and
Yeah.
which one starts
And
where.
my sister explained to me, Midrand was like what Windhoek is now doing with farmland,
Yeah.
buying up farmland around it.
Yeah.
Midrand was farmland between Johannesburg and Midrand and Pretoria. And literally there where my sister once stayed, have you ever heard of a goose shepherd or goose caretaker? A guy would walk past with like a flock of geese
Uh-huh.
early in the morning and late at night and late in the afternoon, and these geese would be like worse than cows, because you would hear with cattle and goats, you would hear the meh and the mooing the whole time, which would be in reasonable like sound levels.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to geese, these guys are like singing at the top of their lungs, announcing to the world, "Ons is hier so, we are here, It's just geese. It's the worst choir that you can ever ask for." And I'm
So
talking
they-
about, and I'm talking about 15 geese at least.
No, that's a
Yeah.
lot of birds.
So yeah, and then I asked the question, what's up with this guy here in a metropolitan area like in South Africa? And I didn't understand the concept back then in, what was it, 2005? I didn't understand the concept of urban settlements can technically merge with each other
Yeah.
as long as their administrations are separate. And I was explained this was farmland between even Sandton was farmland, which is Africa's richest.
So it was the urban expansion that pushed
and this urban expansion since the 70s and since the 60s. And South Africa has had this rapid, specifically around Johannesburg. It has had, because Johannesburg's nickname is most the gold city, or the city of gold in Africa, primarily because of the gold mines that are still active
And
in the middle of the city. 100 years ago, Helmut, can you believe it? Gold mining for more than 100 years?
Gold mining for more than 100 years, and we're still talking about development. Okay, colonialism, long story.
Lost our story, Helmut.
Yeah.
Just leave it. We are back on the Oshana topic.
Yeah, so let's talk
But-
about Oshana.
Um,
I didn't hear what I was waiting for, man.
which was what?
A tannery,
Oh.
update,
Yeah.
High Court door.
Lost I goed, Helmut. Leave those things. You are looking for trouble. Please.
Look,
You really want us to be verongelukt here in front of the gate?
no, look. I like look. There was actually a lot of information that was provided, but much of it leaves at least me personally with a lot of questions with regards to. You know what? Look, I want to hear more about those statistics. But I understand that this is just this is just an address. You can't cover everything all at once, from education, health, infrastructure expansion, and they have the one that's being built from the ground up, and this is across all SOEs, and that are in your jurisdiction, and all the different ministries. Yeah. But he started off interesting enough for me with with the security.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. Go on with security, Helmut. Because I'm strictly going to focus on the difference between where he started and what that lecturer.
Actually, let's start with the lecturer, because he
yeah.
did point out something interesting, because you can tell he's speaking from an academic
Perspective,
perspective, which is why he kept emphasizing the
Research.
investment into research.
Into knowledge-based and innovation centers.
Research and innovation, because when it comes to intellectual properties, there are only two ways that we can there are only two ways to industrialize. It's either you buy what has already been invented, or more like acquire permission from the inventors or the investors on academic institutions that invested time, knowledge, and money into this type of into these inventions or technology, or you invest a lot of money into your own research and development. Both of which are expensive, but the bright side is your own research and development. It gives you, expands your local knowledge base. Not just that, but the breakthrough that you get, it's just yours. Yeah, you don't have to play some kind of franchise with regards to to paying anyone for any type of technology that you seek to adopt. So you can tell the professor is looking at it from in the line of academic, this is where we should start from. How about we just start from here instead of just saying, okay, you know what, we want to develop this and this and this. Yeah, but then we start coming up with reasons like we don't have the money. More like whatever that we would like to invest into, we have to use some type of technology which we don't have, which we need to acquire property rights or intellectual property rights for us to adopt. So you can tell, look, looking at it from a research and development, from an academic standpoint, a development, it makes a lot of sense, especially in terms of industrialization.
It is. He also greatly emphasized, and this is sometimes where I also have to ask the question about my other colleagues in the media, specifically from state broadcasters.
Yeah.
They go and interview someone, and then that person either doesn't give much.
Yeah.
For example, when we looked at the commas, the CEO of City of Windhoek was like very coy. He was like, no, we will wait there. Every time some of his responses will, no, we will hear now from the governor. We will hear now from the governor. And you could see that the person interviewing was trying to lure.
Fish something out
They were standing ready with a fishing rod going like, I'm here to participate in the annual bass challenge in this interview. But we obviously saw much of the particular information coming from the governor, from Governor Nuyoma at that stage.
Yeah.
And this is also the other sort of like difference between the Commerce SORA and the Oshana SORA. With the Oshana SORA, Governor Ipinge has to be technically more involved with the constituencies as well as also the major urban settlements of his region, which actually gets me asking questions.
Yeah.
I want to see a map quickly of our regions. Omothea is the administrative capital of who? In which region does Tsumeb fall in? Because Tsumeb is not in Otjozondjupa. Grootfontein is.
Wait, Tsumeb is not in Otjozondjupa.
They moved the regional border to past
Oh
Tsumeb.
yeah, I looked up the regional borders. I think it's up until 1992.
Yeah, Tsumeb.
Yeah, they looked wildly different.
Yeah, Tsumeb at one stage was actually in Otjozondjupa. Then they moved the Otjozondjupa, the Otjozondjupa / Oshana, and I think it's the Oshana, because Ohangwena their capital is Enana. I just have to be sure whose capital is Omothea basically. Is it Omusati basically?
Oshikoto.
Yes. Tsumeb and Omothea is Oshikoto. Also named after the lake, basically.
What's my favorite part about that word?
Yeah.
It sounds similar to the word thikoto in my language, which means trailer.
Man.
What?
I think you need to take your chair back. If you're gonna lay landmines for us every day, since yesterday. You know that some journalists were still talking about that discussion of ours. Not our discussion.
Yeah.
The subject that fueled our discussion. Our first part of discussion.
Marginalized discussion, yeah.
No, not the marginalized discussion. The other discussion around our men's competition with babies.
No, that one. Look, it's a whole week, so it's fair to still talk about it.
Nog als fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hamon.
Just a note.
Just as long as you don't use your trailer joke.
Okay, no more trailer jokes.
But I know trailer will show up somewhere. But still, yeah. The important thing is now when we have to look at some of the things that the governor cited. For example, like the aggressive infrastructure and services expansion that they obviously conducted.
Mm-hmm.
These are things primarily that, the region is technically smaller than Khomas in comparison to what Governor Nuyoma had to relay. The region, obviously, their region technically is 800,000 people spread across the region. We have 500,000 people concentrated in one spot.
Yeah.
How about that, Oshana? How about that? And secondly, thirdly, it's a discussion also primarily of what has been already going on. Because some of these discussions like water access points, electricity access expansion points, further road construction and improvements on said particular roads, and then land delivery, and the other particular related developments taking place are things obviously that you can assume have already been in the pipeline and or have already been in operation.
Yeah.
What is important is you can technically see how some of the comments that people have made at one stage 2 weeks back about these 3 urban centers just having to tell between each other, guys, you know what, let's just become one massive urban center.
Yeah.
I would actually agree and partially not agree. Reason being, the example of South Africa that I explained, each one keeps their administrative sovereignty separate from each other, and they each produce their own unique picture and facade about what they want to do. For example, Ahmed, if we stop off at Ondangwa, the last time I was in Ondangwa, which was back in last year, our town planning has to start making sense. For some of our towns, Inanna has got a plan, and I know Inanna is Ohangwena. Inanna has a plan, but when you get to Omathia and Ondangwa, you are scratching your head because you don't know if it's the national highway that got there before we decided to put a urban settlement there, or the urban settlement was there and the best course of action to channel a national highway through the settlement was to position it right there.
Yeah.
Now, back in the first time I was in Ondangwa was in 2016. Then it was explained to me that they had this rapid, what's this thing's name? They had this rapid expansion plan to expand the town limits for both. And immediately outside of these 2 particular towns, you had the communal land areas where, traditional huts and settlements, family settlements and the likes were positioned, which made things tricky because now as a town, you've got to compensate the people and tell them, listen, we want to buy your land, so you've got to move.
Yeah.
And as you are moving, let's not have bad relations with each other. It's just the town is going to grow. We envisage this, and we've got to formalize our limits because that's what we've got to do. And there's been, even here on Eagle FM, we had those various particular talking points of the difference between, not the difference, but how this particular land expansion and land acquisition program, specifically by some of the, some of the local authorities specifically are, going about in terms of the compensation given versus the true value of the properties that then start materializing. But before we actually continue, guys, we're going to take a short break, which is going to get us into the planned interview, and that's specifically with Mr. Khomotso Rapetswa from Intercape. And we're going to be back right after this, connecting through to that discussion. Hamut will quickly be back. Just letting you know.
Yep.
The listeners will be back. And you can also follow this particular interview on our socials, specifically where we are streaming. But we're quickly going to be connecting in the short while.
Lipuranengeno wapumbwa eva tere ulikoni maundu tutoingida ashike kapeno nweku tite opoye ekukulile oshafafana nongeshe faili meholamo ihoetike kovano ile koshiwana onongeshe fa yapumbwa kukaraya kovano okupitiramo Eagle FM otuna ebitoda njuka okukwetera oipindi konu kondado inawa nuneudo otukwetera o special ngetashake ngeshe fa omarudi dayo loka opone ushendi fenawa nokumona oijamoiri nawa ningepata fanona monika ko Eagle FM onora etatu imwe mbali heali nola natu heali mbali no heali ile konderewa nora hetatu natu mbali o hetatu batatu o mafelane Eagle FM the eye.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
This is actually, to put it mildly, an economic scandal.
Fraud. So
Not fraud, it's a scandal.
Scandal.
Why do you give a tender to somebody who does not have capacity to build? Why should you do that? You know a person that does not have a capacity to build.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
That's why I'm always telling people in Parliament, let me not take up my Katatura manners.
Right.
Because I grew up in Katatura. And I will not hesitate to tell you off if it is needed to do.
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
My response in terms of Rwanda at 6% is that we had been there before. We've had 6% growth before. It's not something that Namibia has not achieved in the past, and it's not something that Namibia will not be able to achieve in the future.
Eagle FM, the eye.
You are now listening to The Home Run with Helmut and Dwight, weekdays from 4:30 to 6, only on Eagle FM. Download the app or tune in to a frequency near you.
lipuranengeno wapumbwa eva tere ulikoni maondo tutoingida ashike kapeno nweku dite opoye ekukulile oshafafana nongeshe faili meholamo ihoetike kovano ile koshiwana onongeshe fa yapumbwa kukaraya kovano okupitiramo Eagle FM otuna ebitoda njuka okukwetera oipindi konu kondado nawa nuneudo otukwetera o special ngetashake ngeshe fa omarudi dayo loka opone ushendi fenawa nokumona oijamoili nawa ningepata fanona monika ko Eagle FM onora etatu imwe mbali heali nola natu heali mbali no heali ile komberewa nora hetatu natu mbali o hetatu batatu o mafelane Eagle FM the eye.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
This is actually, to put it mildly, an economic scandal.
fraud. So
Not fraud, it's a scandal.
Scandal.
Why do you give a tender to somebody who does not have capacity to build? Why should you do that? You know a person that does not have a capacity to build.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
That's why I'm always telling people in Parliament, let me not take up my Katatura manners.
Right.
Because I grew up in Katatura. And I will not hesitate to tell you off if it is needed to do.
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
My response in terms of Rwanda at 6% is that we had been there before. We've had 6% growth before. It's not something that Namibia has not achieved in the past, and it's not something that Namibia will not be able to achieve in the future.
Eagle FM, the eye.
And coming back, dear listeners, and specifically welcoming you back. And as promised, we step into the planned interview, as mentioned a little bit earlier, specifically that we will be conducting with Mr. Khomotso Rapetswa from Intercape. And before we actually start with that discussion, Mr. Rapetswa is the Senior Marketing and Sales Executive from Intercape's, I'll assume for Namibia. Khomotso, welcome. Thank you, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us and our listeners.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
100% understand. Obviously, Khomotso, today's specific discussion that we're going to have right now is going to be helping the listeners understand specifically all the great particular news that is coming from Intercape, and specifically some of the important developments associated to it. But before we start, could you kindly just tell us a little bit more about, to the listeners specifically, of your role at Intercape, and as well as also, what are the latest developments?
All right, thank you once again. As you mentioned, my name is Khomotso, also known as the face of Intercape. So if you go on our social pages, you'll see the face of Intercape. That's me. On Facebook, on TikTok, that's me. But in a nutshell, yes, thank you for the opportunity. What is exciting that we're bringing here, or what is exciting that we're going to discuss this afternoon, is the mere fact that we've got a route that's starting from Valvers up until to the north. So that's what we're going to be discussing in detail in terms of where it's going and all the stops, so the people are aware of this beautiful route that we've started as Intercape.
100%. So, actually getting into that good news, Khomotso, obviously you've given us a little bit of a glimpse, a little bit of of a sweet and an appetizer to taste on. What does this big news that Intercape is willing to share with us and the listeners today?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, I did give a bit of an appetizer. That's how I am. I just give you a bit of a glimpse so to get your mind running a bit. But yeah, so the route starting from Bavos Bay, then Swakop, then you get the stops along the way, Umaruru, Otavi, Tsune, Osakati, Elima, Arandes, Okahau, Oshikuku, So we go all up until to the north, Okahanja and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, that's a route that we're starting at Intercape, and that we want people to be aware of this route, that it's not only for Intercape, but it's for the people. We've heard the cry. We've heard people asking, when are you starting this route? When are you starting this route? What I can just say this afternoon is that we have heard your cry. We are here for you, and let us take you home in style, in luxury, in a most professional manner. You know what I mean? So that's why we're here.
100%. This then obviously also leads to the partial, explanation you also provided in terms of the why. Intercape obviously is very synonymous with Namibia, meaning that it has been operating for a long time. Why has the company decided to introduce this new route only now?
As I said earlier on, we've heard the cry. We basically saying to the people, yes, we've heard you. Now is the time for us to start it. Because, when you start a route, you don't just start a route without any research, without any understanding of who travels, who does not travel, who's your target market. So we've done our research. We've identified our target market. We feel as an organization that it is a time now to implement the route also before December and stuff like that, so that it gets momentum, people are aware of it. So the time is correct because of the research that we've done as an organization.
Yep. And specifically also looking at the some of the particular developments that you cited, like it's coming closer to the end of the year. This also takes into consideration in terms of, the next question, which also highlighted some particular insights from passengers and from consumers. Why should the passengers, in our next question, Khomotso, why should the passengers also choose Intercape over, the possible competition that might be operating currently?
I'm going to be very simple. Safe, dependable, affordable. That's how it is. That's how we stand out from other competitors. Safe, dependable, affordable. And of course the luxury of it, the professionalism of it. As I said earlier on, this is for the people, and that's why we're here.
100%. We then obviously get into like the nitty-gritties, specifically looking at the ability to access tickets and to make bookings. How can the customers book internet tickets, and especially those that would be traveling from the coastal areas? This would be the majority of Irongo, Walvis Bay, Swakopmund, Arandes, Usikus, Karibib, and Omaruru.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. I've been waiting for the question. So we have a mobile.
We can't start backwards to front, but it's a good one, yeah.
No. I've been burning to hear the question because that's the main aim. But look, we've got a mobile office at Joonsmore. At Joonsmore, we've got a mobile office there that's running currently now. Then we've got a Sokop. In Sokop, we have an office at the Shell. It's going to be at the Shell garage. It should be up and running hopefully by Friday. But we're going to have an office also in Swakopmund as well by the Shell garage. Once this space will introduce the address and everything, I think by tomorrow everything will be up and running in terms of the socials, so people can know where we're going to be stopping also in Swakop. Then of course, besides the offices, we've also got our official app, Intercape official app, where people can also buy tickets from the app. Of course, our friends ShopRite and Checkers outlets all over Namibia. So you can buy a ticket at any ShopRite and any Checkers all over Namibia. Also, you can buy a ticket at all our offices in Namibia. The nice thing about this is that, when a person is sitting in Otapi, can buy a ticket for a person who's in Valvas and just send them a reference number. A person who's sitting in Bintu can buy a ticket for a person from Swakop to Omaruru or Kahau, you know what I mean? So it's very simple and it's very reachable for people to buy tickets for us.
Yep. I actually like that as well, because just before our discussion, actually, Khomotso, sorry, I had a look at the sort of like the website in terms of looking at how you can budget for your ticket, your ride, and the prices actually, like you have like you said a little bit earlier, the affordability component is very obvious because it helps you with planning your prices. Which is something that I'm very impressed with as well, specifically as also being a former consumer myself. Yeah, but I was looking at Cape Town. Don't worry, don't worry. So Khomotso, we get into some of the other particular questions that we also still have. Does Intercape also currently have any special promotions or offers that for passengers that they can currently take advantage of during this new development as well?
Why not? So we've got this beautiful thing known as buy one, get one free. So what do I mean? So let's say you're traveling to the north, you want to take your sister, a friend, so you can buy a ticket and take a friend with, or a family member with. So you must be traveling on the same day, same routes and same direction. You know what I mean? So basically what am I saying? Let's say I want to go to Oshikati, and I've got my sister that maybe there's an event taking place this weekend in Oshikati. So I can buy the ticket, but my sister's ticket is going to be for free. That's how it works, So I'm encouraging the listeners to take advantage of this, so that they can experience this beautiful product that we have, this reliability that I'm talking about, this dependable I'm talking about, the affordability, of course. I mean, why not? So at the end of the day, it is something different, something unique, and rest assured with Intercape, there's always something different, something unique, something we bring into the market that will also always enhance and entice the market to travel with us at all times. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%. But this also then gets us into like future plans, because you also touched a little bit also about future plans, which currently also speaking to current promotions. What are Intercape's future plans for further expansions and potentially further improvements on services in the country?
Oh, there's a lot, which I don't want to take them out now on the radio, because some of the things will be still in work in progress. But of course, yes, there's going to be an expansion of the route. We're still doing some research. We're looking at how do we then also service other towns like your Rundu, your Katima, So there's always research, always evolving, always working hard so to make sure that the clientele, whatever information that we get from the clientele, we can use it to advantage, get stats, get information, and we implement. The nice thing about Intercape is that we listen. So when people talk, we listen, we go to a drawing board, we plan, we strategize, and we implement. That's the beauty about this beautiful organization.
100%. And then finally getting into our last question, Khomotso, if Intercape is well known for being safe, dependable, and affordable, why should the passengers trust Intercape with their travel needs in terms of looking at our last question?
No, look. Besides the dependable affordability and the safety feature, I mean, the track record speaks for itself. In terms of how we've serviced other routes, how we take care of the passengers and their belongings and stuff like that. So there's a track record that we can always fall back on. And we pride ourselves. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying the track record speaks for itself. And yes, people can trust us. We are reliable. And also how we handle the passengers' belongings, a bag, a parcel, the specifications of where bags sit, where certain parcels sit. So it's not only for the people that we make things happen, but also for their luggage. You think about it. You know what I mean? So the track record speaks for itself.
And just before we conclude our discussion, Khomotso, if there's still something you wanted to add that I might have forgotten to ask or that you might have forgotten to mention, you still have the opportunity to do so.
Look, all I just want to say is thank you. Thank you to the people of Namibia. Thank you to everyone else that has trusted us with rendering a service for them and for us taking them home. But I also want to say to the people that we do have a call center in Namibia, and I can give you the number of the call center. The number is 081 950 2100. I'm going to repeat it again. 081 950 2100. This is our call center. It's running 24 hours. It's open. You can ask a question at any time. You can book a ticket at any time. They are available, ready to assist, ready to book, ready to make sure that your experience with Intercape is top-notch.
100%. And on that note, Khomotso, I'd like to say thank you because it also provides me with the opportunity of also visiting loved ones at the coast from a Windhoek perspective. But I'm still looking at Cape Town. You know, it's better than visiting family. But
Let's talk.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. But on that note, Khomotso, thank you for taking the time to talk to us and our listeners here on Eagle FM.
It's a pleasure. I enjoyed it, and thank you once again to the people of Namibia for trusting us and choosing us. Thank you very much.
100%. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And that does bring us to the end of the interview, dear listeners. We'll quickly be taking a short break and we'll come back after this, heading into the rest of the Home Run program.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
This is actually, to put it mildly, an economic scandal.
Fraud.
Not fraud, it's a scandal. Why do you give a tender to somebody who does not have capacity to build? Why should you do that? You know a person that does not have a capacity to build.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
That's why I'm always telling people in Parliament, let me not take up my Katatura menace.
Right.
Because I grew up in Katatura. And I will not hesitate to tell you off if it is needed to do.
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
My response in terms of Rwanda at 6% is that we had been there before. We've had 6% growth before. It's not something that Namibia has not achieved in the past, and it's not something Namibia will not be able to achieve in the future.
Eagle FM, the eye.
Tune in to The Home Run with Helmut and Dwight on your number one talk radio station, Eagle FM, and be part of an in-depth discussion on events you didn't know you needed to hear until you do. From Namibia, Africa, and around the world. Tune in from Monday to Friday from 4:30 to 6 p.m. only on Eagle FM.
lipuranengeno wapumbwa eva tere ulikoni maondo tutoingida ashike kapeno nweku dite opoye ekukulile oshafafana nongeshe faili meholamo ihoetike kovano ile koshiwana onongeshe fa yapumbwa kukaraya kovano okupitiramo Eagle FM otuna evito danjuka.
All right, so we are back to Home Run, right?
Yes, Helmut.
Yeah. Now
I just said that, Helmut.
I know. Now let's dive into what is basically today's subject, and that's Oshana region's recent State of the Region address.
Yeah.
And where a lot of things were basically pointed out, and I have before we went for that interview.
Yeah.
We're talking about the professor addressing things from a research and development academic point of view in relations to what he expected from from the governor, or what he expect the changes that he would like at least from his point of view to see taking place in his region.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, after that, the governor came up, the short intro and a very wonderful prayer from a man of God who wanted to sing, but he was told not to because it was a special event, and
then he was told this is not the platform. This is a special council engagement.
Yeah, but that was the right place for a solo, but they were like, you know what, this is too special for a song. So, but anyway, after one of the first things that the governor,
Yeah.
tackled in at the beginning of his address, and he went very. The beginning part was very general and predominantly political. I started following everything